All right, SML, it's that time of the year again. We've got 2 weeks left in the regular season of season 9, and then we're done with Madden 24 for the cycle. So obviously it's time for the mock drafts to start, and we're already getting ratings. And I've got Dan here with me. Dan, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Bomber? No, man, it's a good time of the year. We've got a little treat in NCAA to hold us over for gameplay, but we got Madden ratings, which is always an exciting time. People start actually taking it serious for team selection, so mock draft is a good time right now.
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of smoke maybe in chat. Some people talking about different teams they want to take. So let's get started. The first pick of the draft is probably uh, going to be the Colts, right? I don't think anybody believes this Bears or especially the Bills. There's no reason for him to take the Bills. Um,
Yeah.
I think we both got him down as the Colts. Do you think there's any chance he does take anyone else though?
No, I think this is probably maybe the second, maybe the third most guaranteed lock. We'll get to the first one later, but look, the Colts are in another good spot. AR will still be young and athletic, and I'm sure they won't mess with any of his release or anything like that. So he's a fun um, quarterback. They keep drafting Madden type players. They got speed at receiver.
Yep.
Prime's sitting good there. It's a really nice team to build. So Prime's going to be taking them.
Yeah, I was gonna say they got two rookie receivers that are 94 speed. One of them being 6'2".
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
got that rookie edge rusher, and then he's got Buckner's going to have inside stuff back. I think he tries to trade Buckner. Um, coming off of Madden 24, where inside stuff has been a huge deal. Everybody's talked about inside stuff and Seth Beatley, the two OP abilities, and I think
Yeah.
if I'm Prime, I probably try to trade Buckner while his value is so high.
Well, it's interesting with Prime too. I mean, I can't really think of that big blockbuster trade that he made this year. Maybe Hollywood for two firsts. What you consider
Yeah,
that? But we usually see Prime making one big, huge game or cycle altering trade, and he really didn't last year. So I think you're right. I think he might be more aggressive season one.
yeah, I think especially strike while the iron's hot. Everybody's talking about it.
Yep.
Maybe you can get
Yep.
extra value for it. All right, I've got my pick up next. I right now I've got me down as the Texans. Um,
Yeah.
but the fact that I had the Texans in primer, I I don't know. The more I think about it and looked at their roster as the ratings have come out, I'm just looking at it thinking this is the same damn team. Like it's there's I mean they have Diggs, they got Hunter and they got Mixon, but really it's the same team. You got Will Anderson somehow didn't get superstar. He's probably going to be star again. Um, Obviously Stroud hasn't come out yet, so you don't know what he's going to look like. But just looking at it and seeing that it's the same team and it's not the team I finished primer with, um, I don't know. I'm kind of wavering on the Texans. This is probably the most fluid I feel my pick has been this late into the cycle. But right now it's probably Texans anyway.
Well, I've always considered you a very fluid person, so
Yeah.
that's not surprising. No, yeah, I got Texans too because I think in the end of the day you'll go quarterback, but I think some of the arguments you make are interesting because I know you hated the Browns kind of repeat a
Yeah.
few cycles ago, so that might really play a factor. But then again, you look at teams and I know the Bears were there, and you've been the Bears, so I don't know what other team, Jets you talked about, you've been the Jets, so
Yep.
kind of running out of teams a little bit there. So I still think you're going to swing back to the Texans. Don't discount, Buckeye players. So, teams like maybe Arizona maybe sneaks in there with Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know. I mean, I think you're going to do your due diligence, but in the end of the day, I think you're going to swing back to
Yeah.
the Texans.
Right now it's probably Texans, but I'm definitely looking at teams more than normal. All right. So next we have Matt and another team that we agreed on. Um, we both haven't taken the Ravens. I think just this cycle, it's going to be so much more important for him to find a division. I think. Um,
Yeah.
I know he wanted the Seahawks. Then he gets a team that he doesn't want to do anything with, and he didn't really care for his division very much, especially when you had Monty in there and Biz. So I think that's going to be important to him, and I think he's going to go Ravens. I know he's talked about Commanders, but if he goes Commanders at this point, you have no idea who those other three teams are going to be, and it could put you in that same position. Whereas if he takes the Ravens, he knows you're probably going to take the Steelers. So I think he goes Ravens here.
Yeah, I was around the same rationale too. I think they're kind of the same teams. Obviously, Daniels is younger than Lamar, won't be as good, but Matt doesn't really care too much about quarterback. I think you're right with the division is going to be the biggest thing, and I think in the end of the day that'll swing him or sway him. I mean, he can hopefully look around and think, okay, this person or that person is going to go NFC East, and I just get ahead of it. But he wants to play guys that he likes playing. He schedules well, and I think he's going to end up going NFC or sorry, AFC North.
Yeah. All right, so now we have the next pick. This is where we kind of split. We have AJ. We split, but I think we both have him taking teams for the same reasons. He's
Yeah.
complained about quarterback all cycle. I think it's going to be best quarterback he can get here. He's basically has his pick of them outside of like from the looks of it, Lamar Jackson, Stroud, and Anthony Richardson, which probably wouldn't be on his list anyway. Um,
Yeah.
so I've got him taking Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I think it's a younger team. He doesn't quite have the speed of the Chiefs, but he's got Burrow, he's got Jamar Chase, T Higgins, and then that speed in the secondary. So I think he's going Bengals.
Yeah, when I said earlier that probably might be the third most locked position. The second one I was thinking was AJ and getting a quarterback.
Yeah,
There's just no doubt about it. I think the only two teams he's going to entertain at this point will be the Chiefs and the Bengals. And I just looked at the Chiefs because I think they'll be a little more fun
mm-hmm.
passing wise. I don't know how much that plays into it for him. He's looking to have fun with those weapons and Mahomes, or if he wants a more, like you said, a little bit more balanced team. They've got a little bit better, I think, on the defensive side with their speed and other things we saw with what Dump did with them. And I don't think AJ is afraid of competition. So if Matt goes there, if I'm going to go there, I think that's just a positive for him. AJ is a good scheduler. I think that would even maybe the same may even swing could even swing Matt into the AFC North if he
Yeah,
sees AJ wanting to go Bengals. So yeah, we're on the same page with that, and both teams will be good. I think this is a good move for AJ. He's the kind of guy like last year with Woods. You just got to go out and take a good team. I mean, don't overthink it. Don't try to make it complicated. Just go out, take the best team there, and Bengals or Chiefs are one of those.
yeah. I think he'll do good with. Like you said, I think for me it's going to come down to whichever quarterback he likes more. I think
Yeah.
Burrow is the better quarterback, but if you're somebody that thinks Mahomes is the better quarterback, then it's going to be Chiefs. You're right, though. He's a lock to take a
Yep.
quarterback. All right, so then we have your pick. This would be another boring one. I think we're both on the same page with you going Steelers. You've been more than transparent about it. So to me,
Yeah,
that was
yeah. This
easy.
is the number one lock of the whole mock draft. You can bet everything you want on it. There's no doubt. Ratings have just confirmed it, and we'll be looking good for Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, you took a Kenny Pickett Steelers team, and now you get Russell Wilson and Justin
Yeah,
Fields. You can
there's some
trade more
toys to
one
play
with.
with. I can trade.
Yep.
Yeah, I can do a lot of different things, a lot of avenues to go, and we'll be looking good.
All right, so then it comes to Woods, and this is where we split again. I've got Woods taking the Bears. I think they'll be good
Yeah,
enough for him. I think he stays out of the AFC. I know he likes what's his name, Josh Allen. He likes Josh Allen a lot, but I think he likes winning a little more. So I think he's going to stay in the NFC. Um, I could see the 49ers pick, but I think he's been the 49ers. So I had him taking the
yeah,
Bears. You get Caleb Williams. You get DeAndre Swift, which he had as the Eagles. He liked DeAndre Swift. He gets Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze. He gets DJ Moore. I mean, Montez Sweat. The Bears really loaded up this season. I don't know why, but I seem to take teams a year ahead of schedule. If I waited a year, they'd be better. Wouldn't have had
yeah,
Justin Fields though. So I think this
yeah.
Bears team is a nice spot for him, um, and I could see him taking the Bears here.
Yeah, to me, the Bears are the number one best build team.
Mm-hmm.
They've got it, and I don't know if it's right to call them a build team because they're almost a tier above that, but they're right there. And the only thing that's pulled me away from the Bears with Woods is that he actually did get to taste success with the Eagles, who were arguably the best team in Madden
Yeah,
last year going into the draft, and the Bears aren't there. So the Niners are still a better overall team. And he might look and say, "Look, I like going to the Super Bowl. I like making runs. So let me take the best team that's still out there." So that's why I went with the Niners. Yeah, he's been them, and they're not quite Eagles level, I think, but they're the best team. So I think Woods might choose that over something like the Bears.
Okay. Next, we've got Dump. Dump's talked a lot about, oh, I'm gonna take a rebuild team. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Historically, we've seen from Dump, he's gonna take one of the better teams or at least abilities. He had Freight Train with Jonathan Taylor. He had obviously the Bengals this year. He had Escape Artist when it was Kyler Murray. So um, I've got him taking the Commanders though. I'm gonna guess that he takes somebody. I don't think he'll take the Chiefs. He's got to play QP if he takes the Chiefs. Not that he's had much struggles with QP as the Bengals, but I think he stays in the NFC. He can take a team like the Commanders that have that young quarterback, and then they have inside stuff. They have a lot of pieces on that team, and I think he goes there to the Commanders.
Yeah, and it's interesting as you see these next few picks. It's basically kind of the same ideas, but just maybe flipping a few
Yeah,
people here and there. And I agree. I think what Dump is going to be looking for is he doesn't want that top tier, so people can say, "Oh, you got the team." You remember how
yep.
everyone got on him about the Bengals right
Being
after that, and he
a
was like, "They're not even a good team,"
yeah,
And so he just wants that next level, which Commanders, Bears, they both fit into that. They both have some pieces that are very dumpish type players. So I think he's going to take one of those. I have him obviously taking Bears. You have Commanders. It's going to be one of those teams.
yeah. I think if I didn't have Woods taking the Bears, I think if they fall to him, Dump takes the Bears. I think Caleb
Yep.
Williams and that offense is just too much to pass up.
Yeah. And this is interesting too, because in the past maybe two cycles, even three, it seems like the best even Madden teams or the more fun teams were all AFC side.
Yeah,
And the NFC starting to catch up a little bit now. We're starting to see like the teams like the Bears, the Commanders, both are actually really fun teams to take, and it might swing some of these good guys, great tier level guys over to the NFC, which will maybe bring some more balance to the league.
yeah, I think so for sure. Especially later as the cycle goes on, because those teams are in a better position to
Yeah.
develop than the
Yep.
Chiefs or the Chargers. All right, so
Yep.
next up we got Meats. We've both got him staying in the NFC East. I've got him taking the Eagles. You've got him taking the Commanders. Um, I know he wanted the Eagles before Woods took them, and I think right here is where he could take them, and it's not quite as good a team, I don't think, but you add Saquon Barkley, that's not a bad addition to that team. So I got him taking the Eagles.
Yeah, I think all your logic there is again right on cue there. He wants a good team. He wants to win. I don't think him being the Cowboys scares him away from going back to that division. For some reason, I just thought he hasn't really had that mobile quarterback, and now Jalen Hurts obviously is mobile, but I think there's something about if Daniels is there, and again, depending on how he's rated,
Yeah.
which we won't know until tomorrow. He could be the next quote unquote AR, the next
Hmm.
really young, athletic, fun quarterback, and I think with what Meats has done with Tyler Black, again, different styles, but just a fun quarterback, he might prefer that, but the same thing. I mean, he's taken a good team. He's taken someone like the Eagles or the Commanders, and he has no shame going back right to the same
Yeah.
division.
And you make a good point about the Commanders and having that rookie quarterback. If he takes the Eagles, Jalen Hurts is locked in pretty much to his abilities. He's got what he's got.
Yeah.
That's just what it's going to be. At least
Yep.
with Daniels, you have the possibility of getting one of the better abilities. So maybe he does
Yeah.
go the Commanders.
And I don't know what his 40 time was, but I'm sure he's going to be lightning fast, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the whole idea of who he is. There's just something about guys that look that way. Like you look at AR last year, and it was just, man, that dude, that dude was going to be a monster no matter who who was going to develop him. Prime got him
Yeah.
there quickly, but he might look the same thing as when you look at Jalen Daniels. So here's the bottom line: Commanders aren't going to fall outside the top 10.
No, I
They're
don't
going to
think
be a
so.
top 10 team.
Not with the rookie
Yep.
quarterback and all the other pieces
Yep.
they have. I mean, and that's not even talking about
Yep.
the corner that they drafted last year, who's a stud.
Yeah.
They'll be all right. All right. So next up, QP. We both have him taking the Chargers. He said before that if the Chargers are there, he's taking them every year, whether they're good or not. This may be more of a year where we can see if that's true because they don't look as good as they have in years past. So, but I do still have him taking the Chargers.
Yeah, I do too, and I think that's more where he wants them to be.
Yeah.
None of these guys that consider themselves to be the elites want to be handcuffed in a great team, and they just take away from what they think is their skill. So QP is that way. That's why he got rid of Herbert the last season. He wants to take this team that's, we'll say, mediocre to good, somewhere in that range. They're old in some bad places, don't have too many weapons, but they do have Herbert, so
Yeah.
that still helps them out a lot. So I think this is a lock. I think you can kind of pencil this one in.
All right, so next up is Tiny. We've heard him talk about he's taking the Titans, and then we watched him backtrack off of that a little bit. And neither of us have him taking the Titans. I've got him taking the 49ers, best team on the board in the NFC. Um, I think he goes over there at the time. He's the only one in the NFC West, and he's got the best team, probably by a pretty substantial margin. I don't think the Seahawks are really anywhere near the 49ers, but probably the number 2 team there. Um, so I've got him taking
Yeah.
the 49ers. Big defense, lots of weapons on offense. Um, I think that could be a team he goes with.
Yeah, we both kind of agree. There's no way Tiny's going to be picking this high and take the Titans.
Yeah.
Okay, especially with you and Prime sitting there. He's just in a too big of a spot. There's going to be a great team sitting there. Okay, I have the Eagles really as the best team sitting there, but I just felt like he didn't want to go back to play meets again, or didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to go back in NFC East. And so Seattle is a team. Hey, they can throw the ball. They got some nice receivers. They got some nice cornerbacks. They got some nice pieces. And if he sees Woods sitting there at the Niners, he's thinking, "Hey, I've played Woods. I can beat Woods. Woods isn't going to dominate me with the Niners." So that's kind of why I picked the Seahawks for him. But really, I think I think Tiny might be one of the more wild card type players. I could see him going a lot of different places.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's going to go at AFC South, and he's not going to go back to NFC East. So that's gonna and dictate a little bit of where he
Yeah.
ends up going.
I will say he did have the Chiefs in primer at one point, and I think he made like a AFC Championship or maybe a Super Bowl. I don't even
He did,
remember.
yeah,
So I could see
yeah,
him maybe thinking that that would be a way to go, but then he's got to play QP twice for that division and deal with that. And I
yeah,
don't know if he wants to do that.
yeah.
All right, so then we have Paulie. Paulie already trying to recruit Gil and KJ, 2 guys that probably won't even be here next year. Um, so he's looking for a division that he thinks he can win. Um, and you have him taking the Bills. I had him looking
Yeah.
at the Bills or the Dolphins or even the Jets. Number one, they're rivals to the Patriots, though I don't even know if he likes the Patriots or who he even likes. I mean, he just kind of, if they're winning, he likes them. If they're not, he's finds somebody else who's winning.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I think looking at the divisions and the way they shook out, if he takes one of those 3 teams, it's kind of like like I was talking about with someone earlier about how you don't know who's going to be in that division, and that's
yep,
like Matt. He doesn't know for scheduling. Well, Paulie doesn't know who's going to join it that might be able to beat him, and
yep.
I think he takes the Seahawks, seeing that Tiny's in that division. He can take the Seahawks, clearly the number 2 team in that division, and then, I mean, you get whoever gets the Cardinals or Rams, but they get stuck with the Cardinals or Rams. So I think Seahawks here for Paulie. He's never really worried about getting a quarterback. He'll find one in that first draft when he's picking top 3. So uh, I think Seahawks are
Yeah,
a good fit.
yeah. I think if that's the option, and Tiny's the Niners, he's definitely taking the Seahawks because it's the second best team, and then he's not worried about the top tier team there.
Yeah,
So if that's there, he's doing it. If it's not there, he's gonna and he's picking so early that he can't pick his division. He's gonna go get the best team in the division. And even though I think other people can make the Dolphins or the Jets a better team, I still think the Bills are still the best team in that division.
yeah,
They're not as good, and I think again, depending on who got the Dolphins, they could be a lot better. But um, I think Paulie will look and say, "Look, I'm gonna take my shot as the best team and see what happens." But depending how it goes beforehand, I don't think anyone can tell us who Paulie really wants as a team because he is 100% picking division,
yeah,
and he will scope out what divisions are there. And if he sees a division that's shaping out to be an easy one, he will take a team and he won't even know a single player on that team. He won't care because he just wants that division.
yeah. I think as of this, he's sitting in 11 right now, and I don't know if he's that happy about being that high because of all the uncertainty
No.
behind him.
Yep. Yeah, it's for a guy like Paulie, actually 11 is not a good spot.
All right, so next up we got Bean, and we both actually have him taking the same team. We've got him taking the Cowboys. I think they're the best team probably left in the NFC. You get Micah Parsons. Um, you've got decent receivers, a CD Lamb. You got Diggs at corner. He's got some pieces there. I think they'd be a fun team. You do lose Pollard, and you have Ezekiel Elliott back there, who's like 35 years old. Um, but I think he would like to play in Dump's division again. Um, he did pretty well against him when he was the Jaguars, and Dump was the Colts, and I think he wouldn't mind playing in that division again.
Yeah, we both think he's not going to go Patriots. Patriots, to me, the
Yeah,
way it's shaping out, again, we still got a day and a half here of reveal of ratings, are just looking at as one of the worst rosters out there. And I just think he just has no interest in that. So where does he go? To me, it was Eagles, Cowboys. You're going to see in my mock that the Eagles are dropping. There's no reason why the Eagles would drop other than one team drops every year, and that just happened to be the way. I think the Cowboys fit a little bit more of what he likes. You can replace running back. Um, he can move Dak, I
yeah.
think, as long as Dak doesn't sign a contract before the season starts here. So those pieces, I don't think I think he likes the idea of having the edge rusher in Parsons, having some of the better cornerbacks that can cover. I think that just fits his style more, and so that's why I went with the Cowboys.
Yep. So we agreed on that one. Next up, we've got Fig, and we've actually got Fig flip flopped with the way we had AJ. So you've got him taking the Bengals, I've got him taking the Chiefs, and both probably for the same reason because the other one wasn't available. So it was an easy
Yeah,
pick. Um, I've got him going Chiefs. It was between the Chiefs and the Dolphins for me, and maybe even the Lions because there's no way he's not going for one of the fastest guys in the game, be it Hill, Jamison
yeah.
Williams, or the three guys that the Chiefs had, and that was ultimately the difference for me was the quarterback situation in the Chiefs, much better than the other two. And then he gets Hollywood Brown, he gets Miko Hardman, and then he gets Xavier Worthy, who ran the fastest 40 time and ends up with a 98 speed. So to me, Chiefs were obvious choice for Fig.
Yeah. Yeah, if Chiefs were there, I think he would take him. He had Josh Allen and he went to Joe Burrow. He wants a quarterback. I think that's a good decision for him. Take a good quarterback that can help you as best as possible. So whether it's the Chiefs or the Bengals or I don't know if anyone else will get the high ratings. Maybe the Jets here. You get Aaron Rodgers for at least a year, but I think those kind of ideas are what's going through Fig's mind. He did mention earlier in chat that he looked at the Lions and he just thinks Goff's contract is really, really bad. So I think he might stay away from them. But you're going to see him going after a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the next one up is Doink, and we actually agree on this one as well. We both have him for the Vikings. I know he likes the Vikings, and this year I think the Vikings are one of the top half of the league teams. Rookie quarterback, rookie edge rusher who's 90 speed. It looks like Dallas Turner, and then they picked up some pieces in the secondary last year, and then obviously Justin Jefferson, and then Jordan Addison. So good pieces there. Hawkinson at a tight end. I mean, they have a lot of everything, and I could see him going to the Vikings. This could be the year.
Yeah, yeah. This fits the who the Falcons were last year. It's that we talked about the Commanders and the Bills being or Bears being a great build team, but they're at the top of the end. This is kind of like a little bit of a sneaker build team.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some really nice pieces. It's a really nice spot to be in. Um, and I think it just fits Doink's style. Doink doesn't care about division. He'll go in some tough divisions. So if you got, you know, on mine, I have Dump as the Bears. I don't think Dump worries him at all. So I can see Doink going right for the Vikings.
Yep. All right. So then that brings D-Muse and another one. He seems to like punishment. He retired and then came back pretty quick. So I could see him taking the Saints again just to continue to beat up on himself. Um, they are his favorite team. I don't know that they've gotten really much better or done much different, but um, I just see him going back to the Saints.
Yeah, it's hey, his favorite team's there, and until he shows otherwise, he wants his team, which is hey, I respect that. You like them a little bit more than I do. I don't think they're a great team, but you like them, I think, for the Buckeye factor.
Yeah,
But
they've got a couple,
it's
couple
his
guys.
team. Yeah, it's his team, so he's going to go there, and that division's very winnable. I don't think there's any really great teams in the NFC South, so he can walk right into it and be one of the favorites.
Yeah. All right. So after him, we have Mike, and we split on this one. I've got Mike taking the Lions here. I think he sees Woods in the division already, and I think he goes to play with Woods. We've seen them be in divisions before, um, so I could see that.
Yes.
I just the Lions look like a fun team to me. Um, I mean, they're probably on my short list. I know the Goff contract and everything, but they're a younger team that's kind of on the way up, and I think they'd be a fun team. And I think Mike would go them. He could play at least with Woods and maybe some of the other guys that join that division.
Yeah, I think Mike is the guy that's going to look at division just as much as he will look at team, not like Paulie, and he wants to quote unquote win the division. He's just looking for guys that he more enjoys playing.
Yeah,
Um, that's kind of why I went with a team I don't think he really would want or cares too much about, the Raiders, but he looks at that and says, "Hey, I can play against AJ, who I think he likes. I get to play against QB, and as you're going to see this fall later, I think Woods and QB Stud are going to work out some way to be in the same division. I think those guys just want to play against each other, as much as they can. They like playing with each other. So
yeah,
um, I'm gonna put those two guys in the same group, and that's why I put him with the Raiders, only because I think he thinks QB Stud will end up being the Broncos later.
okay, that makes sense. I've got the next pick is Gutta. Now you obviously have the Raiders gone, so he can't take the Raiders, and you have him
Yeah,
taking the Lions. I've got him taking the Jets. I just don't think he wants to be the Raiders again. I don't know why. I just get a feeling
yeah,
that one time with the Raiders is enough. It's not like the Chargers where you got Justin Herbert, so you have like a top
yeah,
tier player. Raiders have what Devonte Adams, Max Crosby. Those are older guys you're not going to have for very long.
right.
So I think, especially after having success this last season, I think he may go ahead and switch teams. And I've got him taking the Jets. You're going to need a quarterback relatively quickly, but the rest of the team is there. So
Yeah.
I think the Jets are a team where he would enjoy.
We're moving into this area now again, later half of the draft, but still really, really good teams. Like the Jets are a really, really good
Yes.
team. You still have the Dolphins there, the Jaguars, you still have the Bills, the Packers, the Giants. Those are all really, really good teams. So I think any of those are in play, and I think you're right with God. I just don't think he wants to get beat up by Q, because he has the lesser team most of the cycle, and it takes him too long to kind of catch up team
Yeah.
wise. He's proven not to be the best team builder. He got some good draft picks this year, which helped him, but just not the best overall team builder. So I think a team like the Jets, a team like the Lions, a team like maybe I have the Eagles there. Maybe he likes the Bills. I think those are teams all in play. And so I think the same rationale there. He's looking for a good team, get himself away from QP, where he can just kind of build and hopefully win a little bit earlier this cycle.
Yeah. All right. So next up we have Straw, and we agreed on this pick, which is pretty rare this far down in the draft, but not his favorite team. Actually, you haven't taken the Dolphins, but I think in your scenario, if the Eagles are there, it's a lock. He's an Eagles fan, so
Yeah.
I could see him taking them.
Yep.
But um, Straw with those weapons, that would that would be scary. Um, the Dolphins have Waddle, they have Hill, they have HN. They drafted Jalen Wright, another fast guy at running back. Tua at quarterback. I don't know how he feels about playing with a lefty, but outside of that, I mean, that Dolphins offense is so good, and it would be scary to watch Straw with that offense. You saw what he does with the Rams.
Yeah, no, you bring a good point. And again, if I would redo this again and I had the Eagles there, I'd 100% give them to Straw because that's a lock there. But I think you and I were thinking the same way. I mean, Straw, he loves to air it out. He wants a passing team. So who's left?
Yeah,
And again, the Dolphins just with their amount of speed and to me, two is good enough if you can deal with the left-handed quarterback. We've seen Straw already take some bad quarterbacks and dev them up quick. So I just think that'd be a really fun team. And if that happened in my scenario, and with Paulie sitting there as the Bills, Paulie's already kind of
Oh yeah,
cursing himself out for taking the Bills because that's the last guy you want to see with the Dolphins is Straw.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so
That's a perfect team for him.
yeah, I would hope that it works out that way for him because I think just as a fun aspect and see what he could do, I'd love to see what he could do with the Dolphins.
Yeah, definitely. As long as I don't have to play him. Uh, so next up is Noel. We agreed on another one. We both got Noel taking the
Yeah.
Jaguars' favorite team, picking this low in the draft. This may be the first time that they've been available to him in a while, and then now they have I'm expecting still to have at least a superstar quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. You got ETN, who's one of the higher running backs. They have him up at 90 already. Um, they've got young, good pieces on the defense. I just think that this would be the year he takes the Jaguars. He gets his quarterback, gets a good running back, and his favorite team.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think Noel's worried about you and Bomber there. I think it's his favorite team. I think they've got enough pieces where he can compete. And so I think that's kind of a no-brainer if they fall that far.
Yeah. So then we've got Colt. So Noel basically making two back-to-back picks here. Um, I've got Colt taking the Bills though. Gets a quarterback. We've
Yeah.
heard him. I think he said in chat not too long ago that if he doesn't get a quarterback with abilities, it doesn't matter who he takes. And here with the Bills still on the board, he gets the opportunity to take one with abilities, and I don't think he passes up the Bills.
Yeah, that's a good pick for Colt. To me, Colt's a hard guy to figure out because uh, to me, I don't think his offense really matters. It's going to be the tight end and running back.
Yeah,
So it doesn't really matter who his quarterback or wide receivers are. I don't know what kind of I just don't know what kind of other style he has. We joke about him and Noel being buddies there and doing things together. So I just looked around and like, well, the Bucks would give him a chance in an NFC South. So that's kind of where I threw him there as well too. But he's a guy that could be all over the map. I have no idea where he would go.
yeah. So next up we have MYT, and we know what he's looking for. He's looking for a division he can win, and that's why I gave him the Packers. Now you do have Doink there with the Vikings, um, but then he's got Woods and Mike as the other two. So I could see NYT taking the Packers here and having an easier schedule for the years.
Yeah. Well, we both got him following Woods. That's where he's going to go.
Yeah.
Wherever Woods goes, he's going to go in that division. Him and Woods are, again, I think part of what NYT hated this year was having to play me and Dump, four times a season, and so that was just misery for him. So I don't think he has any interest whatsoever being in a division where he doesn't feel like he has a legit shot. And so I think he's going to look to see where Woods goes. He'll look to see where the easiest division is, and he's going to take that team. So
Yeah.
that's why I haven't taken the Cardinals, which Cardinals aren't an awful team. They got some nice pieces, but you're definitely not a team that is the best team on the board. He's looking for division.
Yep. And so now you're kind of, this is where I feel like you hit like a, these are a little tougher. You got Torque. I'm not really sure who he likes. Filthy, you know how he plays. KP was a little easier than DW style. It's all, you're already narrowing down the teams, and you're getting guys that you don't really know what they like.
Yep.
So this will be interesting to see how these pan out. But we both got Torque going to New York, just different sides of the coin. I've got him taking the Giants. Jets not available in mine, but I think with the Giants, he gets to play Dump, and he knows Dump from college, and so maybe he wants to be in a division where he gets to play Dump more frequently. The Giants, I don't think, are a bad team if you can get past Daniel Jones. And whoever they trot out there at running back. But they do have Neighbors, who's an LSU guy. He's an LSU fan. To me, that made sense. Get your rookie. Maybe I put too much stock in Buckeyes, and that's why I tend to lean that way for guys picking. But when you get this far down in the draft, you got to look for something to differentiate the teams.
Yeah. I'm 100% there with you on Torque. I think Torque. doesn't really present a exact style like we've talked about with guys like Straw or
Yeah.
Dump or others that we know, hey, that's the style he's trying to match. I think he's going to look for a good team, and the Jets are a really good team. Who I have, I think the Giants are a sneaky good team, especially with adding some of their players. I think Burns from
Hmm.
Carolina on the defense. I think that defense is actually looking pretty nasty when you look at it. So there's some really good options there. I just think he's going to look for, and again, we're picking 20th, 22nd here. These are good teams still available. So I think Torch can be happy, whichever team he gets, but it's going to be a good team.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Filthy. Filthy. We know he's a guy that likes to pass. Um, I've got him taking the Falcons now. Whether he goes with, I can't imagine him going with Cousins. He may just have to eat that contract. You got Penix there, who's like 30 years old. I don't, but uh, maybe he goes with him. Really, the way that the beta played with the developing quarterbacks, anyway, it may not matter who you take at quarterback. So some of
Yeah.
these teams that they look good but don't have a quarterback, they may actually be the better teams to take anyway.
Yeah.
But I've got them taking the Falcons. Falcons added some speed at wide receiver, so they've got some more weapons there. Already have Pitts, Bijan Robinson, and decent defenders. You got Bates, you've got AJ Terrell. They've got stuff in the secondary, so I think they would be a good team for him. You haven't taken the Packers. As a Bears fan, I think you would cringe to take the Packers, but you never know.
Yeah, I actually didn't know he was a Bears fan, so I doubt he'd take Packers. The only reason I went Packers, other than someone like the Falcons, is because of quarterback. I
Yeah,
think the Falcons have no quarterback. I don't think Penix will be good enough to use or justify at 25 years old.
yeah,
And then what do you do with him? You can't even move him season one.
and he's lefty, I think,
So
too. So
now he's lefty too. So now you got him at 26 years old. Can you really dev him up? That's a tough ask. And so Cousins is almost worthless.
yeah,
So that's why I think the Falcons they've got a lot of talent, but that quarterback position puts them at such a weird spot.
hmm,
Packers to me just much better at quarterback, better defense. He can run the ball, but if he's a true Bears fan, like I would never take the Ravens, I would never take the Browns
yeah,
or Bengals. He's not going to touch the Packers. So in that scenario, he might end up taking the Eagles because again, I got the Eagles sitting there as a team that's dropping, but he's looking, I think, again at quarterback, and if there's some kind of you see him user defensive line, those types of things is kind of where he wants to play and what he do. But if I remembered right, when he first came into the league, he was saying something like Novak was one of the worst quarterbacks he's ever played with. So I think he really likes quarterbacks. So I think he's going to emphasize that position.
yeah. I could see that. I've been in a few leagues with him, including the NCAA league, and he's always been a guy that's going to take a best team available. So I
Okay.
don't look for him to take like a build, but if
Yep.
there's a team like the Packers there, maybe he does take the Packers. I think Eagles would be he'd be running up to make his pick if the Eagles were
Yeah.
there. Um,
Yep.
but maybe Packers because of that quarterback position. All right, the next pick, another one we agree on. Um, KP and the Browns. You're picking this low. Your favorite team is there. When your other options are the Patriots, the Rams, the Titans. To me, this is a no-brainer. I mean, this is like best case scenario he can hope for here.
Yeah. And KP's not afraid of competition. So if it's Matt, that we both have there, then and myself, he's not afraid of that. The Browns, depending on how their cap situation looks, they're a weird Madden team. Like,
Yeah,
what do you do with Watson? How do you handle that offensive line that we've found in years past doesn't mean much, but they eat up so much of his con or his cap space. That's kind of why you see him drop right here. They still have Miles Garrett, still have Ward, which are great players on the defensive side. They got some really good pieces, but they're just an odd team. So
yeah.
it would take someone like a fan that would want to kind of work with them and make those decisions. So I could easily see KB taking them.
All right. So then we got DW, who was probably hoping that they fell to him. Um,
Yeah,
I've actually got him taking the Rams. DW he's kind of a strange one to me to try and pick what kind of team he likes because I don't know if it really
yeah,
matters to him the team. I know he likes the Browns. I traded him 2 Browns for 2 first round picks um, when I had him. So he will make moves for Browns. It might be tougher with KP being the Browns. Um, I've also noticed DW, he gets so down and so mad when he loses for a guy that doesn't win that frequently. Um,
Yeah.
so I could see him looking for a division that maybe he can win in. And when I look at the division of Tiny and Pauly there, I could see DW taking the Rams. I know a lot of people have the Rams as one of the bottom teams. I actually kind of like the Rams. You've got rookies along the defensive line in Verse and Fisk. You've got, as much as I hate Michigan guys, you got Blake Corum as a rookie running back there, which they
Yeah.
they did Kyron Williams dirty and gave him like 86 speed. Um, so you're probably replacing that running back there. I think Stafford is usable. Again, it's like most other ones. You're stuck at quarterback with a bad
Yeah.
contract, but I don't think the Rams are that bad. And you got Cup, Puka Nakua, you got some receivers and some weapons there if you can deal with Stafford. But like I said, the division there doesn't look too daunting compared to some of the other ones. So I could see him taking the Rams.
Yeah, I did, like you said, I don't know if team matters as much. He's going to play his style. To me, it just, okay, I realized, oh crap, I forgot to give away the Eagles and I need to give them away here eventually, or it's gonna be ridiculous. So it's probably even ridiculous if they're this far down there. It just to me just takes the Eagles. He would love a nice defense
Yeah,
and to be able to run the ball. That's what his go-to is. So I think Rams, yeah, Rams would fit there. The other teams, again, you look at them and just everyone's got these question marks, obviously picking
yeah,
this late. So it's kind of, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. Again, I still look at it though and think, man, he's picking 25 and there's some really good teams still out there. I mean, you look at even your teams and you look at the Cardinals, you look at, I think even the Panthers and Broncos are still pretty decent rosters, minus a few big question marks. So, I think DW will get a good team, but I have no idea which exactly the way he'll go.
yeah. So then we have Stavo. Stavo kind of a wild card too. Nobody knows too
Yeah.
much about what Stavo wants to do. And another team that I think some people have maybe fallen down, um, and you've actually got them going a little higher. So maybe I'm misreading this team, but I've got them taking the Cardinals. Marvin Harrison Jr. So you got a rookie receiver who's going to be a stud. Trey Benson, a 93 speed rookie running back out of Florida State. So you've got your receiver and your running back there. Kyler Murray's usable, which is good because his contract's going to be ridiculous. But I think the Cardinals, looking at where you're at, no team picking below here has a Marvin Harrison Jr. And then you have a running back. You've got Buda Baker. You've got some pieces there, and we've kind of heard him going back and forth with Pauly, and he would get to follow Pauly to the NFC West. And I think looking at what's available, it's just kind of like what I've said from Torque down. You're just kind of picking that one thing that makes the team stand out from everybody else. And I think the Cardinals have one of those pieces, maybe two, and then you get a division where you get to be in there with Pauly.
Yeah. The question will come now, I think, for Stavo. Does he want to be in a division he can win, or does he just want to take a team more he likes? Because you're now picking at this late, you're picking more of those areas where, okay, maybe the division matters more than the team. I have no clue what he likes. All his players that he uses mainly in the Titans are computer generated
Yeah,
or whatever now at this point. So it's hard to gauge there. I look and say, hey, the Panthers, they Bryce Young for whatever he is, he's still probably going to be superstar, and he's a young quarterback. Let him build off of that. But
yeah.
I have no idea at this point, like which team would stand out to him or which team he would like.
And I will say that is something that the Panthers kind of maybe have an advantage over some of these other teams. Is Bryce Young
Yeah,
is probably still going to be superstar. He may be X factor the way that EA drags their feet on some of these changes. I mean, we see Will
yeah,
Anderson still a star, and he was one of the best edge rushers in the league last year. Um, but maybe we don't want to start that argument. But the one thing about Young is you can trade him. It's second year. He's on a rookie deal, so there's no reason you can't trade him. And somebody's always looking for a quarterback.
yep, yep. Gives you some flexibility there at
Yep.
least.
All right. So then next we have QB, and you brought up a good point last time about him wanting to follow Mike. I didn't even think of that one, but I've got him taking the Bucks just because I know he has a man crush on Baker Mayfield, And with the Bucks there,
Yep.
and 6 teams available, same thing. You got to find something, and if your boyfriend's there, you take him.
Yep. Yeah, I just went with his other boyfriend, which is with his Mike
Which
FML. So I think QB wants to be in a division, and so that's going to be the number one thing you're going to look for him. And again, it's not because of competition. He's not afraid of competition. He just wants to play with guys that he
yeah,
quote unquote likes playing with or thinks are sim according to his eyes. So I think that's why he goes with the Broncos.
yeah. So next up, we got Raider fan. This one to me was an easy choice. I don't even know it. Your name's Raider fan. The Raiders are there. I'm giving you the Raiders. It seems obvious. Big Hunter Renfro guy. So I went with the Raiders here. I'd be shocked if they're there and he passes up on them.
Yeah, there's no doubt if they're there, I think he's going to do that. I don't know anything about Raider fan or whatever, and so Giants are a really good team still there, and so that's why I got him picking the Giants.
All right. So next up, we got Steve MC. I know he's a 49ers fan. Um, Enjoy him while you got him because I don't think you're going to get the 49ers for a while. Um, and I've got him taking the Broncos. So at this point in the draft, it was Broncos, Panthers, Patriots, and Titans. I don't think the Broncos are that bad. Um, we
Yeah,
are still talking bottom 4 teams, so they're not great. But you do have, you got a corner that's one of the best corners in the league, and that on its own might be enough to make it worth picking them over anybody else. Could see the Panthers
yeah,
here because of, like I talked about, Bryce Young is tradable, or
yep,
keep him because he's a superstar, probably quarterback. So, but here I haven't taken the Broncos.
yeah. The only reason I haven't taken the Titans is because every year we get some kind of naive, I don't want to say dumb, but pretty much dumb, new guy that thinks, oh, I'm going to go right in Prime's division and I'm going to prove to the league how strong and tough I am and I can do anything. And so I think he's the candidate for me that's going to make it just a dumb decision and take the worst team in that division. And on top of that, I think he's friends or knows Noel a little bit. So Noel's with the Jags. So that's the only reason I had him taking the Titans.
Yeah, I think he might know Noel. I think he's actually friends with Colt. I think
Okay.
I think that's where that.
Gotcha.
I mean, they're all the same people, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
All right, so next up we got Spooky. We both got him in the NFC South. I've got him going Panthers. You have Falcons. Here it was Panthers, Patriots, or Titans. To me, the Patriots and Titans, that is the bottom of the league. So
Yeah.
Panthers with a superstar quarterback or X Factor, whatever he's going to be. That was the obvious choice. So I gave him the Panthers.
Yeah, we both kind of agree on the Patriots being the worst, and I think the Titans and Rams would be the next two. So I think, to me, Spooky's just looking and saying, I'm not wanting one of those worst teams. So he's hoping that the Titans, Rams, or Packers, or sorry, Patriots go before him. So then he doesn't get one of those three teams,
Yeah,
whether it's the Panthers or the Falcons. I don't think he really cares. Spooky, one thing that Spooky is pretty good at is team building. So I think none of that stuff scares him away that it might scare away some other people. But I don't think he wants anything to do with the Pats or the Rams or even the Titans.
yeah. And then the last two, I mean, we don't even know who's there, so I'll just unveil
Yeah.
both of those picks. But, um, you know, I have the Patriots going before the
You,
Titans. Um,
I was going to say, do you think the Titans are the worst roster?
I think they're probably the worst roster. Um,
Yeah.
the Patriots, you got some speed at wide receiver. You've got a rookie
Yeah.
quarterback in Drake May. Regardless of how he actually turns out, you're going to get the Madden version
Right.
of him. So he's going to be able to
Yep.
be developed and be good. Um, like I said, speed at receiver. You've got some pieces on defense, and then you've got some young
Yeah.
pieces on defense. We've seen, what is it, Christian Gonzalez
Yeah.
that Bean has
He's a
turned
stud.
into a
Yeah.
stud. He's going to be
Yep.
fine. You have some stuff there. The Titans,
Yep.
I just don't know what you have. You have Will Levis, who's
Right.
too old and too quick. You've
Yep.
got you got rid of Derrick Henry. You've got some
Yeah.
receivers that really aren't that great. Um, you got to
Well, they're decent, but they're older too.
yeah.
Like,
You've got a 360
Ridley
pound
said.
rookie
Yeah.
defensive tackle. I guess that's cool. Um, like
Yeah.
you just don't have
Is
anything
Farley
there.
still on their team?
They probably still have him, and he'll be normal dev
He's probably too old.
and,
He's
and
too old
decent
now to really
speed.
matter.
But
Anyways,
there's
yeah,
probably three
yep,
guys in free agency that when we do the free agent draft to start the season, that'll be just as good as he is.
right,
Um,
yep,
so
yep,
I just don't see anything on the Titans now. We have a question mark for who's going to even be the Titans. Maybe
yeah,
they get picked ahead of the Patriots just because they don't know not to go in Prime's division. I don't know. There's just
yeah,
there's
yeah.
just nobody
I think
on that team.
I think you're convincing me that they're the worst roster. I was leaning towards the Patriots, but I think I've been influenced by all the Patriot fans in Discord just trashing their team.
Yeah.
And so I think I maybe overreacted to that, but I think you're right. I think the Titans might be officially the worst Madden roster
Yeah,
for Madden 25.
I could even see putting the Patriots ahead of the Rams. I personally like having the younger pieces on defense, but Christian Gonzalez I think is
Yeah,
a difference maker, and the rookie quarterback, as bad as he may end up being. I mean, if you listen to Paulie,
yeah,
he's not even the best rookie they have. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't know. They're not as bad as people are making them out to be, but to me those are the two bottom teams.
yeah. Yep.
So that'll be the draft. And I'll open this up and I can show the divisions now without spoiling who our picks were. Um, and I'll just put that in the middle of the screen
Yeah,
so people can see.
I think the one thing you're going to see in this year is that the conference power rankings are going to be pretty close. I don't think you're going to have any real debate because there's actually some better looking NFC teams this year. So I think that'll make it a fun draft. I don't know if it's because of other things going on or what, but I feel like this is the most wide open a mock draft has been.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it for fun because there's a lot of last minute maneuvering or wild cards out there, and so I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good time. And I mean, we still haven't got all the players out yet. I mean,
Yeah,
who knows if Bryce Young comes out and he's still X Factor, maybe that bumps the Panthers up the list. If he comes out and he's
yeah,
star or something, that probably drops them quite a bit. So I mean, that may even drop them below the Patriots for me if he's not superstar, because
yeah.
that really is the value of the Panthers for me is being able to move him.
Well,
But
they move so much to get Young that this draft class is pretty boring.
yeah,
So
yeah, they don't even have like the
it's a
fun rookies
it's a
or
boring
whatever.
team.
But
Yeah. Yep.
all right, so that's our mock draft. For now, we haven't even finished 24 yet. We should be about a week away from that, and I'm sure things will change. But for now, I think this is pretty spot on. Usually, it seems like the earlier ones end up being the more accurate ones anyway, because you're not swayed by all the smoke that comes out later.
Yep.
All right, guys. So we're just under an hour. So thanks for watching, and I'm sure we'll have more coming out shortly.